kamwe hushindwi. Tunapopungukiwa hupungukiwi Baba. Tunayoyaona magumu wayafanya kwa urahisi. Wewe ni Mungu wa kukupinga huna. Tunaposhindwa wewe kamwe hushindwi. Tunapopungukiwa hupungukiwi Baba. Tunayoyaona magumu wayafanya kwa urahisi. Wewe ni Mungu wa kukupinga huna. Mungu wa wote wenye mwili, ni jambo gani gumu kwako? Twakuinua zaidi ya vyote, maana wewe ni Mungu, siku zote ukaribu. Twakutukuza, wewe waweza. Njia zako hazitunguziki, matendo yako yatisha. Ni nani awezaye yale unatenda? Hata wakuu wa dunia hawafiki hekima yako. Mungu pekee wa kukupinga huna. Ewe Yahweh, wote wenye mwili, ni jambo gani gumu kwako? Twakuinua zaidi ya vyote, maana wewe ni Mungu, siku zote ukaribu. Twakutukuza, wewe waweza. Mungu wa wote wenye mwili, ni jambo gani gumu kwako? Twakuinua zaidi ya vyote, maana wewe ni Mungu, siku zote ukaribu. Twakutukuza, wewe waweza. Unaweza Yahweh, unaweza yote. You are able God. We wait on you. Roho wa Mungu, Roho Mtakatifu, shuka sasa, twakungojea. Kama ilivyo siku ya Pentekoste, katika mahali hapa, shuka sasa, twakungojea. Tunayonja na wewe, tuna kiu na wewe, shuka sasa, twakungojea. Twakuletea ibada hapa hadi tukuone. Mimi na roho yako tukujue zaidi na zaidi. We need you. We need you for the night. We wait on you. Twakuhitaji, shuka sasa, twakungojea. Shuka sasa, we wait on you.
Patakatifu pako, ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako. Ninapenda niwe patakatifu pako. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako. Ninapenda niwe nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie, nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie. Siku moja nawe Bwana, kuliko siku elfu mbali nawe. Heri siku moja nawe Bwana, kuliko siku elfu mbali nawe. Nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie, nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuishie. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako Yahweh. Ninapenda niwe heri siku moja nawe kuliko elfu mbali. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako. Ninapenda niwe. Patakatifu pako, ninapenda ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako. Ninapenda niwe nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie, nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie. Heri siku moja nawe Bwana kuliko siku elfu mbali nawe. Heri siku moja nawe Bwana kuliko siku elfu mbali nawe. Nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie, nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako Yahweh. Ninapenda niwe heri siku moja nawe kuliko elfu mbali. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako. Ninapenda niwe patakatifu pako. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako. Ninapenda niwe patakatifu pako. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako. Ninapenda niwe nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie, nikuabudu, patakatifu pako, ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako, ninapenda niwe patakatifu pako, ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako, ninapenda niwe nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie, nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie. Heri siku moja nawe Bwana kuliko siku elfu mbali nawe. Heri siku moja nawe Bwana kuliko siku elfu mbali nawe. Nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, nikuishie, nikuabudu, nikuimidi, nikuinue, ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako Yawe, ninapenda niwe heri siku moja nawe kuliko elfu mbali. Ninapenda niwe chini ya uwepo wako, ninapenda niwe.
For the Bible study, and this day we'll be doing a recap on the book of Exodus, which we just cleared yesterday, so that we make sure that it is well understood, cemented, and something that you'll be able to even do a personal recap as you're doing your own Bible study wherever you are. Let's begin with a word of prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you. We give you glory and we give you honor. Thank you, Lord, for this privilege. And thank you for the grace to go through the book of Exodus. And dear Lord, thank you for the lessons, the wisdoms, the counsel, the direction that you have given unto us. And we declare, oh God, even as we go through the recap, that indeed, oh Father, you will be able to put us into remembrance. And also this particular data will be captured in our souls eternally. Let the heavens be open and let there be direction in every matter. And it is in Jesus' name that we have prayed and believed. So thank you very much, and we bless the Lord. So as we are going through the book, chapter number 1 of Exodus, we realize that this was the area where the God came into remembrance and had the groaning of the children of Israel. Sorry for that. Let me put this thing as it's supposed to be. Oh, Jesus. So this is the Lord had the groaning of the children of Israel, and he responded to that groan. Chapter number 2, Moses is born. Born in the wrong season, born in the wrong time, but born in the divine time of Zion. Because this was the appointed time. Though other children were dying, but there was an assignment and there was a purpose upon his life. And he was born in the wrong season, but he was born in the right time. And then we come to chapter number 3. We see the encounters of Moses. He has to leave the house of Pharaoh. He kills an Egyptian and he ends up in the wilderness and meets the Lord at the burning bush, the place of encounter. Stays in that wilderness for 40 years under the leadership of this man by the name of Jethro. But the original name that was given was the lover of God, that he met in this particular wilderness of the Midian. And we see the call of Moses taking place. We see the argument in chapter number 3. And then we see him conceding and God saying, I'm going to send you as a God unto Pharaoh to go and deliver my children. And chapter number 4, it is the miraculous signs for Pharaoh. The stick turning into a serpent, the language of leprosy, which communicated the healing of the children of Israel, the stick turning into a serpent, which was the communication of the judgment of the gods of Egypt, and also the water that was poured on the ground, which was a sign of the disappearance of the children of Pharaoh. And we see Moses going, and the first encounter, it was a diplomacy shuttle, but Pharaoh never heeded to that voice, and so they moved from diplomacy to warfare. Because in the first encounter, they went and spoke to him, and it was supposed to be, let my people go in peace. But Pharaoh, sorry, let me fix this thing. Yes, but Pharaoh hardened his heart, and he denied the people the opportunity to go. And so the Lord now came in his power and his wrath. And then we see the assurance of their deliverance, and Aaron is appointed as Moses' spokesman. We see the miraculous sign that happened, and that was the turning of Aaron's stick into a serpent. But this never moved Pharaoh. And then we come now to the first plague, which was the water becoming blood. And then there was the second plague, the plague of frogs, the plague of lice. Did I say rice? Lice. Then the plague of flies, the plague of livestock, the plague of boils, the plague of hails, the plague of locusts, the plague of darkness, and the firstborn death. That covers many chapters. And we saw that every plague was a judgment to an Egyptian god. This was God announcing that he was God. And more than 23 deities and gods of Egypt were judged. And then the Passover, the celebration, the regulations, and the instructions, chapter number 12. And after the Passover, we see the consecration of the firstborns who are given out, and then the death of the firstborn. And then we see now the deliverance of the children of Israel, and the crossing, the miraculous crossing of the Red Sea, which was the Lord opening up, the Lord dealing with Pharaoh and his armies, and they all drowned. And now the people move to the other side of the wilderness, and permanently they can't go back to Egypt. We see the first song of Moses, and then the people complain. They made the bitter waters of Marah. The water is healed with the technology of a stick, but this represented their heart. And then bread from heaven, manna, which means, what is this? And this is what they were fed with. And then the journey begins, the water from the rock that fed them. This rock, of course, was Jesus. So there is bread, the healing, and the water from the rock. These are miracles. And then as Moses is journeying, he becomes the judge. Jethro comes with advice that he has to raise some elders to help him in judgment. The encounters of Mount Sinai. And then from chapter number 19 at Mount Sinai, they stayed there until chapter number 40. So from chapter number 19 up to 40, these activities that happen in Mount Sinai, the 10 commandments are delivered. Instructions that govern how they will deal with God, deal with one another, and also govern about their motives. And then these laws are there to govern their civil system, coming from a slavery unit and entering into a governmental system. They need a legal structure of operation. And the laws are given. Some are very civil, others are very social. The law of the altar, the law concerning servants, the law concerning violence, the animal control laws, responsibility of property, justice for all. This is the language of the law of the Sabbath, the 3 annual feasts, the 3 annual feasts, and then the covenant that they entered with God on Mount Sinai. And then now from 24 all the way to 36 is the matters concerning the tabernacle. And the details are given there about the ark of testimony, the table of the showbread, the lampstand, the altar of burnt offering, how they are supposed to be made, the priestlyhood garment, the consecration of Aaron and his children, the altar of incense, the ransom money, just in case they enter into our census. And then there is the separation of the men that were supposed to build the tabernacle. And then we see the backsliding of Israel when they were worshiping the golden calf in chapter number 32. There is the repentance, the renewal of the covenant, and Moses makes new tablets, and now the instruction to the rebuilding of the tabernacle, the details, the anointing of the people that were supposed to rebuild it, and now the building, the implementation of the tabernacle, the elements of the tabernacle, and also the priestly garments. And that looks like the summary of the whole book of Exodus. It has everything to do with oppression of the children. Moses is born. Moses ends up in the wilderness, encounters God, the deliverance of the children of Israel, the Passover, the deliverance through the 10 plagues, the Passover. After the Passover, Mount Sinai, the 10 commandments. After Passover, the Red Sea, the other side, healing of the water, provision of manna, the quails, the water supernaturally, the wisdom of Jethro, Mount Sinai encounter, the offering of the laws, the legislation, the backsliding, the restoration, and also the details of the equipments that were supposed to be used for the building of the temple. And we said these things ought to be on your fingertips. The 10 plagues and also the vessels. The turning of water into blood, the plague of frogs, the plague of lice, the plague of flies, the boils, the darkness, the death of livestock, the lightning, the hails, and the death of the firstborn. They need to be here. And the altar, the brazen altar, the laver basin, the table of the showbread, the menorah, the altar of incense, and the ark of the covenant, which had the showbread, the budded stick of Aaron, and also the 10 commandments. These ones ought to be on your fingertips. And also the garment of the high priest, the turban with the inscription of holiness to God, the breastplate, the what do we call it? The ephod, and the inner ephod, pomegranate fruits with the bells, and the white garment and the sash. These are the garments of the priest, and also the making of the incense, and also the holy oil. These are just supposed to be on your fingertips because this is the book of Exodus. And so right now we're going to have a recap, and these videos are going to be replayed again so that this thing can sink. We are not in a hurry to finish the Bible. We can finish it quickly, but my main point is that the day you'll begin to do Exodus on a personal level, you'll be able to understand. So these 3 videos will be played courtesy of YouTube. The first video is the tabernacle and how it was built and the elements that were needed. The second video will be about the garments of the high priest, and the third video will be about the details of the things that were in the ark of the covenant. So enjoy the video, and this is the recap, and immediately after the video, the giving details will be on your screen. Immediately after the video, we are going to give, and that will be it. So enjoy the videos, and God bless you. Tomorrow on Friday, we'll begin on the book of Philippians, so you better read it quickly. That one will handle it Friday and next week, and I believe we can take a few small books in the New Testament before we embark on one big book again. So God bless you. Enjoy the videos.
And thou shalt make boards from the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and 1.5 cubits shall be the breadth of one board. 2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards on the south side southward. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side there shall be 20 boards, and there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward thou shalt make 6 boards, and 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides. And they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle, for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the board shall reach from end to end. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places for the bars, and thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof which was showed thee in the mount. And thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle. For the south side southward there shall be hangings for the court of fine twined linen of 100 cubits long for one side, and the 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall be of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for the north side in length there shall be hangings of 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars and their 20 sockets of brass, the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. And the breadth of the court on the east side eastward shall be 50 cubits. The hangings of one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And on the other side shall be hangings 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And for the gate of the court shall be an hanging of 20 cubits, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets 4. All the pillars round about the court shall be filleted with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of brass. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere, and the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All the vessels of the tabernacle in all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court, shall be of brass. And thou shalt command the children of Israel, that they bring thee pure oil olive beaten, for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. In the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations on the behalf of the children of Israel. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his firepans. All the vessels thereof thou shalt make of brass, and thou shalt make for it a grate network of brass, and upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar, to bear it. Hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as there was showed thee in the mount, so shall they make it.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Thou shalt also make a laver of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal. Thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, that they die not. Or when they come near to the altar to minister, to burn offering made by fire unto the Lord. So they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not, and it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed throughout their generations. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made, his shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knop and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knop and a flower, so in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knops and their flowers. And there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same. All it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. And the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof, shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was showed thee in the mount. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make unto it a border of an handbreadth round about, and thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal. Of pure gold shalt thou make them. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always. And thou shalt make an altar to burn incense upon. Of shittim wood shalt thou make it. A cubit shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof. 4 square shall it be, and 2 cubits shall be the height thereof. The horns thereof shall be of the same. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, the top thereof, and the sides thereof round about, and the horns thereof. And thou shalt make unto it a crown of gold round about. And 2 golden rings shalt thou make to it unto the crown of it, by the 2 corners thereof. Upon the 2 sides of it shalt thou make it, and they shall be for places for the staves to bear it withal. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put it before the veil that is by the ark of the testimony, before the mercy seat that is over the testimony, where I will meet with thee. And Aaron shall burn thereon sweet incense every morning. When he dresseth the lamps, he shall burn incense upon it. And when Aaron lighteth the lamps at even, he shall burn incense upon it, a perpetual incense before the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall offer no strange incense thereon, nor burnt sacrifice, nor meat offering, neither shall ye pour drink offering thereon. And Aaron shall make an atonement upon the horns of it once in a year with the blood of the sin offering of atonements. Once in the year shall he make atonement upon it throughout your generations. It is most holy unto the Lord.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
And they shall make an ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, and 2 rings in the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold. Of beaten work shalt thou make them in the 2 ends of the mercy seat. And make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall ye make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel.
And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother for glory and for beauty. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate and an ephod and a robe and a broidered coat, a mitre and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet and fine twined linen with cunning work. It shall have the 2 shoulder pieces thereof joined at the 2 edges thereof, and so it shall be joined together. And the curious girdle of the ephod which is upon it shall be of the same, according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen. And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones, and grave on them the names of the children of Israel, 6 of their names on 1 stone, and the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone, according to their birth. With the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet, shalt thou engrave the 2 stones with the names of the children of Israel. Thou shalt make them to be set in ouches of gold. And thou shalt put the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod for stones of memorial unto the children of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord upon his 2 shoulders for a memorial. And thou shalt make ouches of gold, and 2 chains of pure gold at the ends. Of wreathen work shalt thou make them, and fasten the wreathen chains to the ouches. And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod thou shalt make it. Of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen shalt thou make it. 4 it shall be, being doubled. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt set in it settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row. And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. And the 4th row a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Every one with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate chains at the ends of wreathen work of pure gold. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and shalt put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And thou shalt put the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate. And the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains thou shalt fasten in the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And thou shalt make 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put them upon the 2 ends of the breastplate in the border thereof, which is in the side of the ephod inward. And 2 other rings of gold thou shalt make, and shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loosed from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goeth in unto the holy place, for a memorial before the Lord continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goeth in before the Lord. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue, and there shall be an hole in the top of it in the midst thereof. It shall have a binding of woven work round about the hole of it, as it were the hole of an habergeon, that it be not rent. And beneath upon the hem of it thou shalt make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet round about the hem thereof, and bells of gold between them round about, a golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate upon the hem of the robe round about. And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth in unto the holy place before the Lord, and when he cometh out, that he die not. And thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, and grave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, Holiness to the Lord. And thou shalt put it on a blue lace, that it may be upon the mitre, upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be. And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall be always upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. And for Aaron's sons thou shalt make coats, and thou shalt make for them girdles, and bonnets shalt thou make for them, for glory and for beauty. And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother and his sons with him, and shalt anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. From the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach. And they shall be upon Aaron and upon his sons, when they come in unto the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister in the holy place, that they bear not iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him and his seed after him.
Best thing that happened to my life, Lord, it's you. Best thing that happened to my life, Lord, it's you. You're the friend to the friendless, light in the darkness, peace in the midst of the storm. You're the help to the helpless, healing for the broken. You're enough for me.